His Image Magazine, I just left from interviewing Rhema. We talked about a lot of good stuff. We talked about what they've been doing since the last album, Fingerprints, 2 years ago. We talked about this new album, Red, the whole recording process, and all of the above. So let's go ahead and get into that interview. His Image Magazine.
No walking away, walking away, walking away. No walking away, walking away, walking away.
Well, since the last album, Fingerprints, as far as what we've been doing, since then, I mean, the year after that album came out, we reaped all the benefits of that album. We were getting a lot of opportunities to minister and just getting a lot of good feedback. You know, we released a flyaway video, which was just a stamp in that year as far as a really good video that had a very strong message about, you know, things that are kind of taboo in church culture and even in just regular culture. So we saw the benefits of that, and we were just really opened up to a whole new side of, I guess, the industry as far as music is concerned. But then the year after that, which is this year we just went through with making Ready, you noticed the way I said that, the year we just went through, because it was a process, and it was definitely a great time of God building us up and us having to wait on the Lord. And it's really expressed in this album, especially one of the songs called Off the Edge. But it's really expressed in all of the music that we put out in this next album, the good times, you know, and the not so good times that are meant for good. And what I mean by that is just those times where you wonder, like, you know, what is God doing? Because God's a mystery, you know, and I praise him because he's that way, because if he told me everything the way it was supposed to lay out, then he wouldn't be God, you know. So I thank God for the mystery in him. But at the same time, you know, it was a little frustrating at times. But when we get to the other side, and we've gotten to the other side on several occasions, we're just, you know, blown away from what God does. And that's really been the process, just seeing God in a new light, seeing what relationship means in a new light, and rediscovering it all over again. It's been awesome.
We called the album Red for a lot of different reasons. As Kano was talking about, we went through a very interesting year, 2011, and just the process of making the album Red stimulated a lot of different emotions in our personal lives and different things that we went through that we wanted to shed light on. So when we started to think about what we wanted to call the album, you know, we just talked about it, and it just seemed like Red was something that just kind of clicked. We just kind of came up with it, and we started to kind of attribute that color to a lot of different things. It's a very powerful color when it comes to psychology. It stimulates things like hunger and love and passion and emergency, and it's a very bold color that just, it makes a strong statement. You know, as Kano mentioned, sometimes, you know, like when, say, a woman walks into a room with a red dress, everybody notices her. It's just that strong of a color where it just pops no matter where you see it. And we kind of relate that in a lot of ways to the record that we made. And we just tie it into a lot of different ways. A lot of the different emotions that I just mentioned are emotions that we express on this record, and relate them to the different experiences that we've had over the past year and a half, 2 years since Fingerprints. So that's pretty much the short answer why we called the album Red.
Looking out the window as the days blow by, steady on the move, grounded but so high. With the strength of memories and close ties, life is like an open road in the sky.
One Love's process in making of the album Red. Well, let's just say he didn't keep his shirt on a lot. No, he was, you know, one is a very, what is the word, a purist of a lyricist, so he always keeps an element of poetic, you know, ness in his lyrics, and, you know, a depth where you listen to his lyrics and, you know, you really have to, you get captivated by the words. So he's very big on that. And in this album, the challenge was to do that and do it in a simplistic form, which I think was the greatest challenge for all of us. But for Juan, I think he just really shined in that aspect because his verses came alive, because he was able to bring forth a deep, message, or a deep lyric, or a deep metaphor, while making it universal, so that everybody can understand it and still know that it's deep. And that's, I think, one of the most difficult things for anyone to have to do. And when he writes, he's a reader too, so a lot of times when he's when you hear a verse from him, not that you can tell what he's reading, but you can kind of you know where he is in his life, or in his reading, or in his intellect, because it bleeds through with his words. I mean, he uses words in rap verses that have no business being in rap verses, and makes him sound dope. And I've always admired that about him. So his process is like no other. He eats bologna sandwiches in the studio. Comes in 50-degree weather with a long sleeve tank top. How's that work? I don't know, but it's part of his process. Gotta love him for that.
I wanna take it all, face it, but I'm torn back against the wall, being chased by a storm.
Butta's process is definitely different. A lot of people like to definitely collaborate a lot when they're working on verses and songs, and she does as well, but when it comes to writing her actual verse, she definitely likes to be on an island alone. Sometimes she'll just get in the car and just take a drive, come back later in an hour and have something memorized or something like that. Definitely coffee. She's a big iced coffee drinker, so if you have a studio session with Butta, bring her a nice McDonald's iced coffee, and she'll do some good work for you. But she's definitely her strongest critic, her biggest critic. She writes verses over again because she's very hard on herself for the way that she does things. There's a lot of times where me and K-Nuff will really like a verse that she did, and we'll feel very strongly about it. But it's hard to convince her that it's dope if she doesn't like it. So there's definitely a lot of songs where I really liked her verse a lot, and I was very hard-headed and adamant about telling her to keep it. And I would sometimes really try my best to make her do it. And sometimes she would budge, but most of the time she really just needs to be in her zone and really just like every aspect of what she's written, so that she can listen to it 6 months, a year from now, and know that she gave everything on that verse, on that song, and feel confident in just every aspect of it. So she's definitely a perfectionist at heart, but she's very creative. So she's one of a kind, and she loves coffee.
Even if I'm screaming in my silence, I'm here, remaining calm in the violence. It's unfair. I don't need a heart or a violin.
His process with this record, I think he attacks the songs differently. I think every time. There was one song that he kind of just handled by himself, was Off the Edge. We kept trying to come up with concepts of the song, and just one day he just wanted to just go to the studio by himself and work on it. So he kind of got his own little element and worked on that. And then when we came back into the studio and heard what he wrote, it was just, sometimes he just needs to kind of be by himself and do that. He's very hook driven, I believe. He likes to attack the hook first. So once he gets a hook and get a concept and stuff, it's kind of easier to build around that. But with him, I know he's always writing. So even if there's no beat, like, he's always writing. He always has verses. He always has stuff like that. And I think we differ a lot in that aspect. He just always has lyrics to kind of refer to. Not that he doesn't usually take lyrics that he already has written for a new project, but he'll kind of refer to them and kind of build from there. And then just working with Andy in the studio, I know he was he was a lot more vocal this album, I believe. He was a lot more vocal in what he wanted to hear in a lot of the songs, because a lot of the songs, not a lot, but the songs that you hear him singing on, like, were kind of built around him, so they fit his voice perfectly. So he was a lot more vocal, and he worked a lot closer with the producer of this process. I don't know if you guys remember how we actually came up with it, but we were driving in the car and we were just talking about just music, just kind of having a conversation, and we're talking about different albums, and we were talking about Jay-Z's Black Album, and we talked about the Beatles' White Album. And I said, we should do the Red Album. And it started off as a joke, and then we just kind of all looked at each other and was like, that sounds dope. And then K-Nuff just started saying, man, you know, how many emotions go with Red? And we kind of just started talking about it. And then that's kind of how that process began. And then when we really started getting into the record, we just really just kind of started understanding more and more the color red and what really, you know, how it triggers so many emotions. And I think that was kind of like, we were kind of dead set on the title of the album with this one. So I don't think we ever wavered from it. I know when we were going through the process working on songs, I think we just really wanted to make sure that every song fit in with that, and it was going to trigger some sort of emotion when it tied into red. So I think with this process, it was kind of easy for us on this one.
When I think about Fingerprints and I think about Red, and I'm trying to think about similarities, I don't know that there's too many that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I think both of them show a growth musically in each of us. So Dopey's Good News was the one prior to Fingerprints, and I think with every record we try to step it up musically and lyrically and concept-wise in every other way. So one of the ways in which I think that they're similar is that actually I can't think of any way in which they're similar.
I would say melodies. I think the singing aspect of things, like with us having like more musical melodies. I think in that sense.
That. I'll do another one. I don't honestly. That's a good question, actually.
I'll just kind of piggyback off. Yeah, I think maybe some of the similar, like he said, there's not a lot of similarities. I think a few of them would probably just be the singing aspect of it. We added a lot more vocals. With Fingerprints, it was a lot more vocals as compared to Worn Souls and Dope Beats. So with Fingerprints, it was like kind of the first time we were branching into singing. And then this album just took it to a whole nother level, and the producer really challenged us vocally with that aspect. So I would say that part of it is similar. I think we tried to keep more of a commercial appeal with some of the songs that we did, the way we did with Fingerprints. There was a few songs on this album that we wanted to make sure still lined up with the Rhema Soul sound, with the bass thump, like in Fingerprints and the rest of the records. I know all our fans are going to look for something similar to Boombox, so we wanted to make sure we had something kind of, you know, feed that fan that's going to... But besides probably those three similarities, I think this album is very night and day compared to Fingerprints.
Like Juan said, the album was titled, everything was done so on purpose as far as the objective was there, to communicate this red and these emotions. So we went into this more, I guess, focused on what we were doing. With Fingerprints, not that we weren't focused, but Fingerprints was just a totally different process. We did that album within a matter of 2 months, 3 months maybe. You know, well, this album, it took us a whole year to really do. And the emotions in Fingerprints are bottled up into like a 3-month period, whereas the emotions in Fingerprints is like a year plus. I'm sorry. The emotions in Red are like a year plus worth of emotions and stories and growth. You know, so totally different process. And but at the same time, I definitely think it'll be just as poignant as far as it communicating a message. By the end of the album, you got something from it. So, well, the producers we're working on, we have two. I'll let you mention the biggest one, but we have two local producers, Ray King and AD. They're very, not that they're similar to what we worked on before, but they, you know, they're fans and we're fans of theirs. So they really captured the element of Rhema Soul as far as what we used to do, and bringing it to the next level. Working with the other producer, he challenged us to do something we were not comfortable doing, and made it, you know, and had to make it ours. And I'll let Butter P. His name is Andy Anderson. Are you gonna? No, Andy Anderson, and he's, you know, he's a notable producer. I mean, composer. I mean, he's just musically, he's just talented, and not that he's on another level than those other guys are. He's not. I mean, he's just I don't know, like, the best word for it, he's just a genius at what he does. And if you were to meet him, having a normal conversation with him, you would see that he's a little bit off, but he's a genius with the music. Like, and that's just how he is. That's how musical geniuses are. You can play all instruments, and he just went into it. He can sing, you know, just really teaching us what, you know, what really, what you really need to have good music. And when I say good music, I mean music that from a 3-year-old to a 5-year-old to a teenager to an old person can listen to and be like, wow, you know. And those are elements that, you know, the greats knew about: Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, the Beatles, you know, all these people. And he knows those elements, and that's what separates him. He's old. He's older.
And the other thing, he was good at matching us with music, if that makes sense. Like, he was good at creating something and knowing that we would sound good on it before we did. So, like, he would play something and we would kind of be like, really? Like, we're supposed to get on this? Like, perfect example is the new single, No Walking Away. That's actually the first song that we ever did for the record. It was huge sounding. When we walked in and he played it, I was just kind of like intimidated, because I was like, wow. He walked us through that whole record and just pulled out every piece of us, and it was just amazing. When we went back and listened to it, it was like, wow, like, he was able to just make us sound so much better, and it still has the Rhema Soul feel on it. So that's, you know, I would say that kind of just shows the difference between a producer and just having a beat maker, that, you know, they're able to just craft something for you, know you're going to sound good on it, and coach you through it to make sure that the finished product is definitely something that everyone's going to be able to relate to.
And just to piggyback off what they said, at the same time, even though we were very much challenged by him, we didn't do anything we didn't want to do. So a lot of people tend to think, like, when you start to make bigger music, like, or you start to reach a bigger audience, or you attempt to get your name and your ministry and your vision in the eyes and ears of people that wouldn't normally hear you, people tend to think that, as, you know, they call it different things, like, oh, you're selling out, or you're going pop, or whatever. And I don't think we've ever felt like that in this process, because I think that it was just a natural progression for us, which, like I mentioned, every single record that we do, we step it up, whether it be singing more, or this album, there's some screaming on it. Like, there's just, we challenged ourselves in all kinds of different ways. And even though a lot of the process was intimidating in the beginning, because it wasn't something we were used to, we didn't do anything we didn't want to do. We wanted to grow as artists. We wanted to try different things. We wanted to dabble in different genres, because that's what felt natural to us. So it wasn't because, oh, let's make this song because it's going to reach this person. It was like, no, let's do something that we feel comfortable with, that people are going to be able to relate to and hear what we have to say. Because it's easy sometimes, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent because it's on my heart, but people tend to think, like, oh, like, if you're not doing, like, backpack rap or whatever, or a certain type of music, which is what we all kind of came up with, you're not staying true to yourself. But at the same time, I think you're kind of not staying true to yourself if you don't grow. You grow as a person, you get older, you learn new things, you taste new foods, you go to new places, you see new movies. So you need to bring all those kinds of things into your artistry if you want to grow as an artist, if you want to get better, and if you want to improve. And if you just stay doing a certain type of sound or a certain type of music, you're really not challenging yourself to grow as a person. I would even go as far as to say that. So yeah.
Well, my favorite, I mentioned, is the song called Off the Edge. And the reason why it's my favorite is, like I said, I mean, it just, from what I think, it just depicts, more than any of the songs, it depicts most of the whole process of what we've, what we've been doing this last year. You know, that step of faith, you know, how you take that step off the edge based on a goal, you know, based on a dream, based on a promise, and you do it because you have faith. You know, you have faith in God, or you have faith in, you know, yourself, or, you know, you have faith in something. And it's a very universal record because we wanted it to be that way. Obviously, we have faith in God, and we take the steps we do because He tells us to, and we believe that He's going to catch us. You know, some people have faith in just themselves, or they have faith in a process, or, you know, they want to be a doctor, and they have to take that step of faith and get this student loan that they have no idea how they're going to pay back. But they take that step of faith, and then 30 years later, when they're an orthopedic surgeon, that school bill that they thought was going to be such a grueling thing is now a memory. And they're glad they're able to do what they're doing. They're glad they took that step of faith because they knew that they were supposed to do that. So it's that type of a theme that was, you know, set us in motion as far as this past year of full-time ministry, full-time dependency on God. So Off the Edge is easily, I shouldn't say easily because there's other songs on there I won't mention because I might take one of theirs, but there's other songs on there that are my favorites as well, but that one's definitely number one.
My favorite song from the beginning has been No Walking Away, and it's funny that actually turned out to be not only the single but the first song we even recorded for the album. So but I'll mention another one just because that one's out. But another one that really stands out, aside from the others, because I love every one of them, but Celebration is a song that really hits hard and hits home for me. I think it was actually the last song we did, or the second to last song that we did for the record. So we were in that stage of just, we're done. We just need like one more banger, and we need to come hard on it, and we need to come lyrical on it. And that's exactly what we did. It has a big hook. It has a very strong hook, in that it's something that when we do it live, the whole roof is going to cave in. It's just ridiculous, and that's something that I think about a lot when we do records, is which songs are we going to be able to really kill it when we do it live and just have that energy that really translates to the audience. So Celebration is a song that every single person came on it so amazingly. Everybody's lyrics and verse and flow and everything is just one of the most impressive songs to me on the album, as far as lyrically, with every person just coming for the jugular, really. Like it's a very MC type of a song, but at the same time it's like crunk and and very nasty and dirty and filthy.
It's that song that you say, oh, you thought we wouldn't pop?
It's the ugly face
Taste
song,
that.
the one you listen to and you go, that stupid face.
Yeah, and the bass is just like
retarded.
Kill yourself bass.
May cause epilepsy. Face.
My favorite, I think honestly, my favorite song is probably Need an Answer. I think it's the one I probably relate to the most right now. I just love every aspect of that song. I think the beat on it is amazing. I love that we we played around with dubstep, and we didn't go too crazy with it. And we still made it our own. And that's one thing I love about our group, that we try to like get whatever people hand to us and still make it our own, so we're not coming off as posers per se. So that's, you know, that answer, that Need an Answer track, I think sonically is just great. It's just great. AD killed it. And I just think, you know, just everything. The hook is great. The lyrically, everyone did well on it. Just the topic, the concept of the song is just talking about us needing an answer. You know, sometimes in life, you know, whether you're a Christian or you're a non-believer, there's always questions in life. You're going through things within your life, and you start to question, you know, your purpose. You start to question God, or you start to question a relationship you're in. You start to question, you know, why you're in college when you're failing most of your classes. There's something in your life that you question every so often, and you know, at the end of the day, everyone, I don't care if you're a believer or non-believer, you always say, God, what's up? I need an answer. And I think everyone will be able to relate to that, because everyone has found themselves at a point in their life where they feel lost. And so I think that song we kind of solidified it, that yeah, we need an answer, but at the end of the day, we know where to go for the answer, and that's definitely Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Hallelujah. I would say I want our fans to walk away with just knowing that, to just trust in themselves, believe in their dreams, trust God, and knowing that the promise that He has given them, He is going to come through with it. Even though you're going through stuff and you feel like, you know, you're never going to accomplish anything that you set out for, just trust God and just know that, you know, everything is possible with Him. And make sure when you're going for your goals and your dreams that you do it with 100%. Don't half step.
One thing that I would definitely want fans to take away from this album is that sometimes in life you have to take risks. If you look throughout history, a lot of the people that have done great things are people that at one point in their lives decided to step out and do something great. And a lot of times, you know, we have dreams and plans and visions and stuff like that, and we look for God to fulfill those, but at the same time, God a lot of times is asking us to take that step and to you know, get out of the boat, or to jump or dive, or whatever metaphor it is that you want to use. But and it's a scary process. It was for us, and it is for, you know, anybody that does anything worthwhile or meaningful. So that's just a big thing in life, you know. It's all about choices, and sometimes that, you know, choice that you have to make to take a risk or to do something challenging or unorthodox for yourself is really that thing that's going to kind of propel you to that next level spiritually and just in your life in general. So I hope that it's a very inspiring record in the sense that people get motivated to action and to do something and to stop making excuses for themselves and to say, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm called to do, and these are the steps that I need to take in order to accomplish that.
And I would say it like this. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he's doing very well. Great job, great family, everything. And I was talking to him, and I was like, man, your life is dope. He's like, no, your life is dope. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, you're living by faith. And he said, my life is safe. And I was like, wow. And like, it took me back. He said, my life is safe. And I just quickly thought, like, that's what I want people to get out of my album, out of this album. That, of course, there's a, you know, you definitely want to have a safe life. But God is asking for us to take risks, like Juan said. He's asking for us to go for those goals and do what it is that He put on your heart, like Brother P said. But most importantly, He's saying, you know, trust me, this life is, you know, you're not supposed to be safe. And at the end of my life, the last thing I want someone to say is that I lived life safe, because living life safe is just not what it's about. You know, all the people in the Bible were just crazy radical people that just did crazy things. I mean, fighting lions and bears and giants and beating up people with a donkey's jaw, and thousands of people getting smacked in the face with a donkey. That's not safe, you know what I'm saying? And that's what
Walking through the Red Sea. That's
walking through a Red Sea with two, you know, two walls of water next to you. You can see blue whales, I'm sure, or whatever is in that sea, right next to you. You know, so it's just not safe. And I just challenge people to live life to its abundance, and the abundance means taking that risk, you know, going after what you need to and living it passionately. Like, find something that you're passionate about that God's given to you, and just go after it, you know. Whether if it's winning souls, if it's building up the church, if it's, you know, moving seats, whatever it is, man, just be passionate about it, you know. And, you know, that's it. Be passionate about something. So that's it.
Thank you for listening.
Booyah.
We are Rhema Soul.
We are Rhema Soul. Go get your album. Your album, that's right. It's already yours. Go get it. Just go claim that junk with some money. You gotta pay some money to claim it.
Couple bucks.
Red. March 27th,
2012. So make sure you guys go get it. It'll be available on iTunes. It'll be available in stores. It'll be available
on Amazon.
On Amazon.
On Amazon. Catch it on
Napster,
LimeWire. If it's on LimeWire, that's how you know you made it. Yeah, man, just get the album, enjoy it, share it with people, not burn it. But, you know, when they get in the car, you play it. You share it that way.
No piracy.
No piracy.
Take it all, face it, but I'm torn. Back against the wall, being chased by a storm. The winds bring rain, hurt triggers rage. Fear invites terror, and terror bleeds pain. Can only run for so long when life has got a meaning. I gotta keep believing. Who's gonna fight if I'm retreating? Even when the trees are blowing, I need to be seeking refuge in my peacemakers' hands is where my peace is. Don't give up on dreaming, it's only for a season. Just wait, the storm is all a part of bringing you your healing.
Gotta move on, gotta be strong. Hold on to the early morn. Gotta move on, gotta be strong. Hold on, it's a brand new dawn. 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 It's a brand new